Today I'm going to be teaching my boyfriend Sam how to diagram a complex sentence. So our sentence is, the day when Susan arrived from Peru was my birthday. So the first step that I always do is decide what structure the overall sentence is. So here we see that we have a subject and a verb, and then within that we also have a subject and another verb. So we know that this is going to be a complex sentence because we have two different clauses. We have an independent clause, the day was my birthday, because that can stand alone, and then we have a dependent clause, when Susan arrived from Peru. So here, put our independent clause, the day was my birthday. Within that we have our dependent clause, when Susan arrived from Peru. Okay, now we have to decide or determine when Susan arrived from Peru, what kind of dependent or subordinate clause this is. So we see the word when, which is an adverbial introductory word. So we start thinking towards relative clauses. So our three criteria for a relative clause is that they must contain a subject and a verb. So we have that. We have Susan arrived. The second is that it has to be an adjective clause and that it modifies the noun which it is beside. So here we see that when Susan arrived from Peru modifies the noun day. So we have that. And then also we have it introduced by the word when, which is a relative adverb. So this is how we know that this is a relative clause. And we know that it's not an appositive because for an appositive you could substitute this clause, when Susan arrived from Peru, in place of the noun. And we know that we can't say when Susan arrived from Peru was my birthday. Therefore, we know it's a relative clause and not an appositive. So now what I do is I just pay attention to the main sentence and diagram the main independent clause. So first we have to determine what sentence pattern this is. So we have a subject, day. We have a be verb, was. My birthday. Birthday is a predicate nominative or a noun that refers back to day. So this sentence pattern is a pattern 3. So I go ahead and diagram this and say day. Then we have the, which describes day, like that. We have our be verb in the verb spot, and then our slanted line and birthday, which is a predicate nominative, which is referring back to day. And then you have my under this. Now we need to look at our relative clause. So we see that we have a subject and a verb. So we know that that'll be a part of our sentence pattern. This verb is not a be verb, it's not a linking verb, it doesn't take a direct object, and it doesn't have a predicate nominative or a predicate adjective to describe our noun. So we know that this has to be an intransitive verb, which is going to be pattern 6. And then in here I usually signal with some parentheses that I have a prepositional phrase, just so I can keep that in mind when I'm diagramming. So our dependent or subordinate relative clause always goes on the tier below our independent clause. So we're going to say our pattern 6 diagram. Susan arrived. And then from Peru is just a prepositional phrase. So we diagram it like so. Now we need to know where to put when. So we see that when is an adverb, so it will go under our verb. And then to connect your independent clause to your relative clause, you just draw a dashed line from the noun that it's modifying to your when, or your introductory adverb. And so this sentence will be diagrammed like so.